you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell if
It's something I haven't thought about. It's really something. It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
We don't know. We don't know how it's going to play out. We just know that this was the first opportunity she's ever been given to answer questions about what happened.
Because they don't care. They never cared.
President Trump is the ultimate deal maker. He knows that a promise made on behalf of the government should bind the government.
Wow.
So,
a lot of people are nervous. Anyone connected to Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein has to be asking themselves, did their name come up today during the meeting between her lawyers, Ghislaine and Todd Blanche, Trump's representative from the DOJ, the Deputy Attorney General, the number 2, second in command only to Pam Bondi? They got together for day 2. And the reporting is that Ghislaine gave the DOJ info about 100 different people. That's a lot. Linked to Jeffrey Epstein, say the lawyers. Now, Trump's being asked about that. So, okay, first question, of course, is who are they? What is the connection? Are these just little, like DoorDash receipts or something that nobody cares about? Or is it something more significant? And more importantly, what does Maxwell want in exchange for this information and cooperation in the event that they're prosecuting anybody? So, linked to Jeffrey Epstein, say the lawyers. Now, Maxwell answered questions from DOJ officials of about 100 different people is the report. Linked to the late PDF file called Jeffrey Epstein, an attorney for the disgraced socialite, claimed on Friday. His name is David Oscar Marcus, and he told reporters that she was asked about every possible thing you could imagine. Everything. This was the first opportunity she's ever been given to answer questions about what happened because the first prosecution didn't care at all. Now, Blanche had every single question answered during the sit down. Now, if she lies, they could charge her with lying, says Maxwell's attorney. And they did charge her with lying, someone says. The 2 perjury counts, which we remember, which were dropped. They already got the convictions on the original counts. Remember, the original counts were up here, and counts 7 and 8 perjury were ultimately dismissed because they got her for 20 years on all of the other counts, essentially. And the question is, would they do that again? Ghislaine was also spotted returning to prison with a box of materials after she was grilled by Trump's Todd Blanche. That was yesterday. And I have a clip of that because here is the video from CNN. They captured it, and here's what it looked like.
This is video of Maxwell returning to prison just moments after meeting with Trump's Deputy Attorney General. And you can see her there. Actually, if you look closely, she's carrying a box of material. Maxwell's attorney says she was forthcoming with every question that Trump's team threw at her today.
All right, so every single question, and there's a lot of questions that no doubt came out. The vision has emerged because Trump has floated the possibility, they write, of potentially pardoning Maxwell. What are you going to get for that? And I know what they'll say we'll get for it. All sorts of indictments. And we're going to get some pittance of peasantry justice, which we don't want. Thank you. We'll see if what comes, but we'll see who she's dumping, dishing dirt on. If she's like, I got Bill Clinton right here. Okay, well, that's curious. All right, it's interesting. The vision has emerged as Trump floated the idea of a potential pardon. He says, I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I haven't thought about. Todd Blanche went down there. Maxwell's attorney, David Marcus, also came out. We'll listen to some of him, but Maxwell, of course, is trying everything she can to get out. She wants a pardon. She wants relief because she's got a lot of time left on the clock. 20-year sentence and has not been in that long. So she wants to get out. We saw yesterday, Todd Blanche said, I met with Ghislaine and I will continue my review of her tomorrow. The DOJ will share additional information about what we learned at the appropriate time. Others are saying that they're going to keep digging into this. Democrats who have missed every opportunity for self-reflection that's ever existed in recent memory are now saying, I can't believe this is a cover-up from Jeffrey Epstein. Okay. All crashing in like clowns to be a part of something because they can't do anything else. Like, well, this is an issue people care about, so let's pretend we care too. Anyways, so everybody, I think, can see through it. Her lawyers asked the Supreme Court to take up the case. We'll see ultimately where it goes. But this is the excerpt of the president. Trump asked about a Maxwell pardon. Here's what he said.
What are you hoping Todd Blanche gets out of his meetings with Ghislaine Maxwell?
Well, I don't know about the meeting. I know it's taking place, and he's a fantastic man. He's a great attorney, and people should really focus on how well the country's doing, or they should focus on the fact that Barack Hussein Obama led a coup, or they should focus on the fact that Larry Summers from Harvard, that Bill Clinton, who you know very well, and lots of other friends, really close friends of Jeffrey Summers, should be spoken about, because, Jeffrey Epstein should be spoken about, and they should speak about them, because they don't talk about them, they talk about about me. I have nothing to do with the guy.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell if
It's something I haven't thought about. It's really something. It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
Haven't thought about it is different than absolutely would never do that. Obviously, it's like, well, maybe I will think about it now that you mention it. You go, okay, for what? But here's what Fox News was reporting. They had people there, I'm sure, staked out.
New at 2, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche's meeting with convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell has ended. This as critics are calling for more transparency in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Welcome back as we head into hour 2 of America Reports. I'm Sandra Smith in New York, and Bill, great to have you here today.
What's up, Bill?
Great to be with you as well, Sandra. I'm Bill Malugin in Los Angeles. John Roberts has the day off. That meeting Sandra just mentioned just wrapped up moments ago. Maxwell was escorted back to the prison from the courthouse in Tallahassee. Her attorney said they had a, quote, productive meeting with Blanche, but details of their talks still remain under wraps right now.
All right, Fox team coverage is at the ready. Chief legal correspondent Shannon Bream is live here in New York City, standing by with analysis. But first, let's get to our justice correspondent, David Spunt. He's got the latest from Washington for us. So, David, what else did Maxwell's attorney say?
Well, he said a lot. We wish we could be in and hear what was said in the actual meeting. This meeting was a lot shorter than it was yesterday, but this was a 2-day event. The highlight, though, it appears that her team wants a pardon. Watch.
We're going to take one day at a time. I know that's very cliche, but it's true because things are happening so quickly. We haven't spoken to the president or anybody about a pardon just yet, and the president this morning said he had the power to do so. We hope he exercises that power in the right and just way.
Wild. So it's shifting rapidly, the conversation, isn't it? We're going from indictments to pardons now? What evidence did she even get, right? You see what's happening. I'm not saying that Trump's doing that per se, but you can see where this is going, like where the media is going and where these people are going with it. Now, we also saw something interesting I came across, which was this conversation between Todd Blanche and David Oscar Marcus. This was flagged over here by this account who hates Republicans. And so they're going to draw some, weird conclusion on this. Maybe there's a collusion or they're a little too friendly. They took 18 seconds of this, but it is curious that Todd Blanche and David Oscar Marcus are, got some history together. Listen.
But David, in all seriousness to you, I know a lot of people that have worked with you. I know a lot of people who know you very well. I now consider you a friend and someone who I know pretty well. You are by far the best out there, and I'll always say yes to this podcast. It could be the first three-peat.
Let's do a three-peat.
Wow. All right. So interesting. So they're hanging out together, talking about Maxwell. They know each other. They like each other. He's done his podcast 3 times, it sounds like. Okay. We'll see where that goes. Now, here was another excerpt. This came out from yesterday, and this was Marcus, who is Maxwell's lawyer, who's walking out after the meeting.
We're not going to comment on the substance, but there were a lot of questions, and we went all day, and she answered every one of them. She never just said, I'm not going to answer, never declined. This is the first time the government has asked questions. So we were thankful that the Deputy Attorney General came and asked her questions. The first time the government did it. So it was a good day.
Is there any possibility that Miss Maxwell's prison term could be reduced or that she could be pardoned potentially?
There's no promises yet, so she's just answering questions for now.
Okay, no promises yet. What would she give that could possibly change that? So here was more. This came out from today. They're walking out after, I guess, the meeting at the courthouse.
We finished for the day. We started this morning right around 9 o'clock and went to now lunchtime, and we're finished after all day yesterday and today.
Half day.
Ghislaine answered every single question asked of her over the last day and a half. She answered those questions honestly, truthfully, to the best of her ability. She never invoked a privilege. She never refused to answer a question. So we're very proud
Dump
of
truck.
her. We're proud of how the process has worked over the past day and a half. I will say this, she has been treated unfairly for the past 5 years. She didn't get a fair trial. We're still appealing to the Supreme Court. We're going to be filing a reply in the Supreme Court on her cert petition on Monday. Remember, people have questioned her honesty, which I think is just wrong. Remember, a juror lied to get onto the jury.
We remember that.
Admitted to lying to get onto her jury. She did not get a fair trial. No prosecutor even mentioned her until Epstein died. So we feel that the process for Ghislaine has been unfair. She was denied bail. She was treated worse than an animal would be treated in jail when she was first held, woken up every 15 minutes. So we're just trying to get through the process where we are now and get her some relief. So that's where we are today.
Do you feel like you're going to get some relief as a result of the conversations you've been having the last couple of days?
We don't know. We don't know how it's going to play out. We just know that this was the first opportunity she's ever been given to answer questions about what happened.
Because they don't care. They never cared.
Will come out about what happened with Mr. Epstein, and she's the person who's answering those questions.
And could this affect her appeal in any way?
We don't think this will affect her appeal. We're appealing on a very important ground, which is the government at the time promised Jeffrey Epstein that any potential co-conspirators would not be prosecuted. And so she deserves that promise. And I'm surprised. I don't think President Trump knows that the Justice Department took the position that promise should not be upheld. President Trump is the ultimate deal maker. He knows that a promise made on behalf of the government should bind the government.
Wow.
And so we're hoping the Supreme Court...
So, by the way, I think that that was probably the intent of that document. You know, nobody was in those secret rooms where he got that smoking deal that Acosta gave to him. But the deal was ridiculous, okay? Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And so the idea that it would cover Ghislaine, I think, is completely appropriate because it says all other co-conspirators. Why would you even put that in there? Like, you named people and then you wanted to go one step further and say, and everybody else that we never even thought about. Like, what? And they put it in there. And then, of course, they found another out on that. It's like, well, there's other portions of this that limits it based on the jurisdiction only in this district. It's like, come on. Why would Epstein or any of these people sign that document if it was only in that district and he can't be hit outside the district? It made no sense. Then he died, so you never got to go to the full end of that. But this is more from the U.S. Attorney.
Agrees with us that when the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of Florida promised that no potential co-conspirators would be prosecuted, that bound the Southern District of New York as well.
What was the focus of the question?
They asked about every possible thing you could imagine, everything. We're not going to comment on what we're hoping for. We just today and yesterday answered questions.
So she hasn't been offered clemency or anything?
No offers have been made, no. The Deputy Attorney General is seeking the truth. He asked every possible question, and he was doing an amazing job. It wasn't a half an hour question and answer. He questioned her for a day and a half. So he asked every possible question, and he did a really good job and asked her a lot of things.
All right, so they make their way out, and it is probably something that is being floated, okay? Like, they're talking because there's an opening, meaning Todd Blanche is receptive to this possibility, and he is communicating accordingly. So we'll see what we get out of it. That's the big question, obviously. But here was what the president said about this on the way out to Scotland.
Todd Blanche is a great gentleman. He's a great lawyer. He's got a great heart. But he's over there now. I don't know exactly what's happening, but I certainly can't talk about pardons.
Can you trust what she's telling him? She's a convicted trafficker who's eager to get out of prison.
Well, he's a professional lawyer. I think he's been through things like this before. You should focus on Clinton. You should focus on the president of Harvard, former president of Harvard. You should focus on some of the hedge fund guys. I'll give you a list. These guys lived with Jeffrey Epstein. I sure as hell didn't. Thank you very much.
That was the president saying, I'll give you a list of the hedge fund managers. And there's probably a lot to that and to the thesis that most of the criminality is not necessarily happening on Epstein Island or in these mansions, although there is a lot of criminality there, and maybe the more heinous version of criminality than just, financial crimes or financial transactions, abusing children, perhaps the most evil thing that could ever happen. And what you have then is a whole, overlay, or it's like the iceberg analogy. Just the tip of the iceberg is the stuff that we see with the raids and, some of the salacious stuff, but much more of the bulk of this is happening behind the scenes. So is Trump going to give us a list of the hedge funds people, or anything happen to them, or they will be, connected, or pay a fine or a settlement? Will this whole thing be buttoned up and Maxwell be freed, just like her father, Robert Maxwell, would have wanted for her future? Of course, we'll see. But we'll keep our eye on this one, my friends. Thank you for subscribing and joining as we do.